Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Sherrod Davis on the line, and he's head of operations over at Hyde Closet. Sherrod, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam. Appreciate it.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Hyde Closet and how you're helping your clients. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how'd you get started in your career in business?
Sure. Originally from Baltimore, Maryland, Adam. It's a sad time for us right now. I was expecting to have a home football game this weekend. Unfortunately, we do not. So it's like depressing around here right now. Went to school down in North Carolina at Davidson, where I was a philosophy major actually. And so when you're a philosophy major and graduation's coming up, everyone's asking you, you're going to go to law school or are you going to go teach? I wanted to do neither of those things, so I went to Wake Forest, got my master's in management there, which is essentially like the first year of your MBA. They have just a unique program for liberal arts majors. And then I went to work for a company in Winston-Salem called Inmar. It's probably one of the larger companies that folks haven't heard of, but Inmar is a company that sits between the transactions that go on among retailers and manufacturers. So you go to your local grocer, you use a coupon, 50 cents off Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola owes that grocery store 50 cents. So Inmar started as a company that would actually handle the transactions between the retailer and manufacturer. As that process became digitized, obviously at that point they were able to say, oh, hey, Adam is using this 50 cents off Coca-Cola coupon every week or every 2 weeks. What happens if we give him $1 off? Is he using it more frequently? What happens if we give him $1 off Pepsi? Are we able to influence that consumer behavior in a way to help those companies accomplish some of their goals? So I did that for about a year and a half, and then I had the opportunity to move back home and start an advertising technology company with my buddies. It was called AdWap. AdWap was focused on using video ads to raise money for charities. And so we learned the hard way how difficult it is, A, to start a company, and B, to start a company that relies on advertising dollars to support it. So I have a lot of respect for anyone who's, in sort of the direct-to-consumer space, just trying to gain consumers' attention, I think is really, really difficult. So we did that for about a year and a half to 2 years, raised some good money for some good charities, so did some good work along the way. But like I said, was a really unique learning experience. And then I went and I worked for a data privacy company here in Baltimore called TrackOff, where I was the VP of operations there for about a year and a half, and we got acquired by Avast. And so that was, pretty successful, modest acquisition, but a great experience. Met some great folks there, and got a really solid experience. And so I've sort of leaned into the startup thing here in Baltimore as we try and grow our ecosystem, just because I've enjoyed creating things and working with really sharp and passionate people. And so I had this thesis, Adam, and the thesis is that I don't believe that my children are going to own clothes. And so that's centered around a couple things. One, I don't think that there's a lot of utility around owning clothing. There's a ton of utility around wearing clothing. But in 2020 now, I think we're starting to see that we have the operational and logistical infrastructure to support a pure rental model. And so people are going to be able to get more novel clothes. They're not going to have to spend time doing laundry or storing those clothes or figuring out how to dispose of those clothes. So there's a number, I think, of value propositions to a rental model. And so I was testing some marketing messaging of my own for a company called Pleatly. And then I heard a guy on another podcast pitching in some ways something very similar to what I just pitched to you. And he was running a company called Hyde Closet. His name's Raul, who's our CEO, and he happened to be in D.C. So we met up for beers and decided, we should come together and do this. They were a little bit farther along. So then I hopped on board with Hyde, and the rest has kind of been history. We've been growing pretty significantly since then, and yeah, I'm just excited to be a part of the team there.
Man, that is exciting. Let's go further into what Hyde Closet is. I don't want to assume that everybody listening knows.
Yeah. So Hyde Closet, for all intents and purposes, is like Rent the Runway, but for men, in a lot of ways. So what we do is we provide a curated outfit for guys, mostly young professionals, but we have folks of all ages, whether they're going on a date, whether they have a big interview coming up. And so we offer 3 different plans. One is what we call the one-off. This is for Adam, for example, if you were going to a wedding or had something that you wanted to look, super nice for, that maybe you didn't want to use what you already had in your own closet, but you wanted to, get access to premium brands without paying those premium brand prices. We also have the 3-pack. Those are for folks that, want to do this essentially 3 times. It's really 3 one-offs. You get a little bit of a discount by committing to 3. And then the one that I'm most excited about is really the unlimited package, because that creates sort of that rotational closet experience. You wear it, you pack it back up, you send it back to us, free shipping on both ends, and then as soon as we get it, we send something back to you. And so it really gives guys the opportunity to keep their closet fresh, seasonal, up to date in terms of the trends and the brands that are hot. And so we've got some really positive feedback from our early adopters here.
Man, and so as head of operations, I mean, the logistics thing on new clothes, new fashion, I can't even imagine with the amount of pieces of data, the trends, the brands you have to work with, the sourcing. Oh man, you got a lot on your hands there. But I love the concept. Yeah. I love the concept. I love the thought process. I mean, for those that don't know Rent the Runway, that's just it's another subscription service for women that, they need these expensive, nice dresses. They have a big event to go to. They don't want to go out and spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a dress. They rent it, exactly what the name says. So I love when I heard you were doing that for men. I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And the other thing is just the talk about the styling and things like that, because I'm one of those guys, and I think there's some other ones listening that they don't really know too much about style. They don't really want to deal with all that. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we place a lot of value and time and attention into is the styling, because we feel like that's a little bit of our secret sauce, right? Like, things are now happening in the world of social media that, I'm in, quote unquote, the fashion technology business, and I'm struggling to keep up with it. So someone who is a professional or in some other field, I can't imagine that they're able to keep up with a lot of those trends. And so when you use Hyde, you get a specific stylist that's assigned to you. You have access to that stylist pretty much 24/7 via text message, which we're really leveraging to build some of those strong customer relationships. And so we get your sizing. We ask you what your day-to-day is, where you live. So the box, the package is really, really curated specifically to that person, right? So if that person is conservative or adventurous or lives in a cold climate, lives in a warm climate, we can tailor those packages, those boxes specifically to them, so that way they get the most bang for their buck.
Man, that's absolutely amazing. And so if somebody's listening to this, Sherrod, and they want more information on Hyde Closet because they need some help on either their styling or they just want the convenience. I mean, it's just so much easier. And I love the point that you said that there's no real utility in owning the clothes and wearing it. Yes, not in owning. That's a big difference. I love it. So if somebody's interested in learning more about Hyde Closet, what's the best way for them to learn?
Yeah, you can just go to HydeCloset.com. and we've got, you can get in touch with us directly via the website. You can order a box and check it out for yourself. So, yeah, HydeCloset.com, definitely the easiest way to get in touch. And that's Hyde, Hyde. Sorry there, Adam.
Perfect. No, that's great. And so, Sherrod, thanks again for coming on the show and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at Hyde Closet to help us fellas. And to the audience, as always, I appreciate you tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Sherrod, thanks again for coming to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.